How's it going, everyone? It's Michael Heppel back again, this time chatting with Mike Todd of Scarred by Truth about their latest EP, Blind My Eyes, their message, and their career so far. So, first of all, thank you for your time, Mike. It's much appreciated. If you could, for me, first of all, just introduce yourself and your fellow bandmates and what your roles are within the band.
Absolutely. Just first of all, thank you, Michael, for having me. So my name's Mike Todd. I'm with Scarred by Truth. We are a northeast metal band, and we don't really have a category or a particular genre because we like to try and avoid that and kick those fences down. What's the best way to describe us, though? If you like Stone Sour, if you like Korn, Metallica, you're probably going to really, really dig us. I'm the bass player in the band, and I'm also the guy who's mostly on social media. We've got Deej Lake, who's the co-songwriter with myself and vocalist, and he also plays a little bit of guitar. We've got Marty, who's rhythm guitarist, and he's joined us probably in the last 6 months. At the moment, we're looking for a drummer, and we might have some guitarists lined up. We just need to wait for the current situation with the pandemic to kind of settle down so we can get them in and rehearse and move forward. And that's where we are at the moment. So any drummers and any guitarists, reach out to us.
Yeah, indeed. So as I said in the introduction, then you have through your music a message that I think is really, really important. You cover some major topics that are really relevant right now. What are those topics?
Yeah, we did set ourselves aside to want to be a bit different, and we sing and we write about the things that touch us on a daily basis, which include things like mental health, poverty, homelessness, everything that kind of gets to you as a person and gets to your family and affects you. We'll sing about the media. We'll sing about politics, although we're not a particularly related band. We are more about social awareness than anything else. So the title track, for example, of our EP, Blind My Eyes, that is about mental health, and the line that's included in that is the chorus is, I hate you, you hate me. And that's about those moments when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see the person in front of you and you know it's you, but for some reason you're just not feeling right about yourself, and you do just think, I just really don't like how I look today. Or it could even be something deeper, if like you just don't like the person that you've become. That's the sort of topics that we aim to deal with.
Wow, very interesting stuff there, Mike. When did you really get into music, would you say? And then who are you influenced by? I know you said Metallica and things like that, but who would you say you're influenced by?
Well, me personally, I got into music really heavily, I would have said around about 14, and I got into both rock and heavy metal, and also kind of that jazz fusion. Like, one of my favourite bands is Level 42, because I just love Mark King's bass playing, and the fact that he could play bass really well and sing, just great. And I just thought they were good songwriters. They're very lauded by people, I think unfairly, but it's a band that people maybe didn't quite understand. That's just the way it is, and that's how I feel about the band. I'd rather be misunderstood, but still making the music that I want to, because I think that's vitally important. But yeah, the likes of Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer, so the big four of the thrash metals, really, really inspired me to go forward. But obviously, there's a bigger umbrella of bands like Testament, Flotsam, and Jetsam. But yeah, I liked Bon Jovi. I liked Europe back in the day, Striper. But I'd also still be watching Top of the Pops and listening to all the new bands and even pop music that was coming through, because, like I said earlier, I just don't like this idea of being stuck and focused on one particular thing. Why should you do that? Music is music. Just enjoy it. Love it for what it is, and don't feel like you've only got to listen to one thing because all your friends do. Yeah. You know, it's just too much out there that can inspire you. I know that Deej, our singer, he's been listening to a lot of Billie Eilish, and I mean, I know her song "Bad Guy" is probably like one of the most like I don't know, biggest selling songs at the moment. He just loves the way that her and her brother write music and the way that she sings and kind of presents her vocal style. And I just think that's really great. I mean, why can't you just borrow a little bit of what people do? You know, it's the best way to be. I mean, Bruce Lee, the martial artist, that's exactly how he built his martial arts. He just took the best bits from all of boxing and judo and everything like that. And he just made this martial art that became something that people now look at, besides MMA, of course. It's just this great martial art that everybody looks up to. And I think we should be doing that with music and not be going, oh, that's too pop, that's too jazz. It's music. And if it works, go for it.
100%.
You know?
I mean, obviously, as I was saying on air, I mean, before I went on air, sorry, I mean, I've done radio presenting before, and I've come across radio presenters that are like, oh, I don't like anything in the top 40, I don't listen to the top 40, I don't like it, you hear it on every radio station, but sometimes that's obviously the stuff that's doing all right. Like, I mean, It's not just one type of artist in the top 40, you've got all sorts of different things. And I was just going to ask you as well, before we did come on air, we were talking about unsigned music. Who that is unsigned, would you say, that you've got a particular liking for? Sorry.
Oh, that's a massive list, that, Michael. I'll be honest with you. In the northeast, so certainly up in Newcastle, some of my personal favourites are By Your Leave and Heist 211. Now, these are all mostly metalers, I'll be honest, but I'm going to bring up some rock bands. But yeah, Heist and By Your Leave, they are some of the most original at the moment. They wear masks, they've got these costumed personas. And you know, when you go to see their gigs, it's just this thriller-minute stage show that you've got this absolute attitude, and they've got the audience kind of commanded, you know, like want to be part of it and want to get involved in it. So there's them. There's so some of the other newer bands that are coming out. There's Syntheater, Swarms UK, Desolation, Collapse of Colour. Gosh, some of the other big bands that I like around here is Filth Hounds. I know a band that's actually done really quite well on Nova is Not Now Norman.
Yeah,
I love those guys. I love them guys. I love Sander and Taylor. Well, Taylor actually sang on one of our songs. She sang on 666. So she provided the backing vocals on that, and that just lifted the song. We loved that song anyway, but I sneakily went to Taylor and I went, Taylor, come and have a sing on this song and just sing it, and just sing it like this, but then also do a take as if it was your song, and which kind of makes it up, and it just took that song for me to a whole other level. So I can't thank Taylor enough for that. So she's well deserving of the recent award that she got from Nova Radio. So thanks, Taylor.
Of course, I forgot. They've just done the awards. I mean, I'm in and around Nova, to be honest. I mean, I'm just a cover presenter for them now. This is something I do completely separate, but I mean, I say that I've done 2 shows at the last 2 nights. So let's get to why we're here then. We're talking about your latest EP, Blind My Eyes. And so let's start with The Plight, and how did it come about?
The Plight was quite an interesting song. When I spoke to Deej, because as I said, he's the main songwriter along with myself, and I just said to Deej, I really want to, down the line, I want to do a charity song, and I want to do it for homelessness.
Yeah.
And he went, oh, okay. So, and that was the last we talked about, and then about a week or so later, he pinged me this demo over, and it was just the basics of The Plight. I was like, oh, that's really, really good. We'll work on that. We parked it up. And then it was about 2 months later, I was on Facebook, and there was a group on there which is called UK Thrashers, run by Neil Brannigan Fuller. And Neil was like, oh, I'm doing this album. It's called Moshing the Roof On. It's going to be a charity album. It's about homelessness. All the proceeds are going to shelter. And I just went, right, that's it. We're going to do that song, and we're going to offer it to this album. And we did. And luckily, Neil said, yes, I'm going to take it. So we just polished it up from scratch. We totally did everything at home, recorded all the instruments, all the vocals, mixed it, which is a hard trick because I'd never done it before. So I mixed it and sent it off and got it mastered. It was bang on the deadline. We got it in onto the album, and then that was it. And it just sat there. This was back in February. Sat there as it went off to go through production and everything like that. The CD got released, and we just thought, oh, that's great. So we're going to get a song out before we've really got going. The song came out, and it got some good reviews.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. And everyone was going, okay, this is great. When's the next material coming out? What's coming next? What's coming next? And we're like, oh, right. So we put our heads together, and we had about 20 songs already written, because DJ and I just throw ideas backwards and forwards and put them together. So we picked the songs that we thought were going to be fairly diverse and interesting. And as I said, it all goes back to this. We don't want to be pigeonholed in a particular sound. We're heavy, yes. Yeah. We are metal, yes. But we're not all out thrash, or we're not we're certainly not death metal. But we didn't want to go down this particular route. So we picked 4 of our own songs, and we've been talking to a friend called Adam Ashbridge, who goes under the title of Fractured Planet, and he does all instrumental songs. And we said, Adam, do you fancy doing a song together? You do most of the music with us, and we'll do the vocals, and we'll work on it together. And he just pinged over this song, which was called The End Is Nigh. I might as well talk about that song now as well as the play. So he threw The End Is Nigh over, sent it over to Deej. Within about 30 minutes, Deej came back with a demo, and he just said, these are my ideas. This is what I think we should do. So he pinged it back. We listened to it. We went, right, yeah, that's brilliant. And that's the most heaviest song that's on the EP. So then we just polished that one up, and then had everything done, mixed together, mastered, and then we got the EP to go out in January. So, yeah, not January, June. so picked the wrong month with a J. Yeah, picked the wrong month with a J. So that's what happened with that. So, like I've touched on, so we got the plight. That's all proceeds from that song are going to shelter. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how many EPs we sell. I mean, it's a 5-track EP. We sell the physical copies for £5. A pound of that's always going to go to shelter.
Yeah, so
always.
Nice, I mean, you see sometimes you get like maybe 50 pence or 10 pence from this will go to the charity, where you're giving a full £1 away every time. I mean, that's surely gonna do some benefiting to shelter. Do you mind?
I certainly hope so.
You as well, Mike. I know it's a bit personal.
You can ask me anything. I might not answer it, but you can ask me anything.
Do you know roughly how much shelter have gained from the proceeds so far?
I know from Mushing the Roof On it was 1,700, and I think we are currently sitting at about £50 ready to go off to shelter. That's from streaming and physical sales.
That's so good. I mean, that's gonna literally, that could potentially save some people's lives. Especially
absolutely, yeah.
In these cold temperatures. I mean, the northeast is brutal this time of year, so that is just some good news. Eventually, just what everybody needs this year, a bit of good news there that
absolutely
benefit from that. And while we're on the subject of good news, how's 2020 been for you then? Has it affected you much with your music, with you not being able to gig or anything? How's it been for you?
I won't lie, it's been absolutely crippling, in so much as all the plans that I had at the beginning of the year have gone out the window.
Really?
Because we'd formed the band initially as a bit of a collective, and we call ourselves a collective rather than a band. We made it up with members from different bands. Now we've lost some members because they'd said before the pandemic, they're like, oh, we've just released our album, we want to concentrate on that, which was fair enough. So we were always kind of looking to get more solid full-time members of the band, but then the pandemic hit. Yeah. So we've got some people on board. We've got a drummer, and we've got a drummer called Rob, a lead guitarist called Danny came in, and Danny played on the plight. And by the time we could actually get into rehearse, it was back end of August before all the rehearsal spaces were opening. And we come a cropper, I'll not lie, because jobs were getting in the way, and people were like, I just can't commit to what we want to do. So they departed. We looked for some new people, and we've got some people lined up. We just need to be able to get in and do some rehearsals. But obviously, we just had the recent lockdown in December. We've literally just come out of it. So waiting for the legalities of that to be able to get in and get these people on board, because we've got a gig booked in March at Trillions at Newcastle, and that's a charity gig for Anxious Minds. So we want to get in, and we want to get these new people hopefully on board and at the speed for this gig, because we want to just kind of get out there and be the best that we can. So so the year has totally hampered not just us, but every other musician that kind of either has fun going out gigging or makes a living from gigging. And I know a lot of people who are really, really suffering. But the flip side of that is I just have this feeling that when we actually come out of it, people are going to be actually really clamouring for live entertainment, because you've been cooped up in the house. And I think people are actually missing going out to see the band, and have maybe taken them a little bit for granted because of the internet. So I think you've got this thing sometimes of like, well, why do I need to go out when I could just Google it or YouTube it, or I know that someone's going to stream it on Facebook, which isn't always the best thing to do, like streaming an entire gig. Stream a song to go, oh, that's a good band. That's great.
But
so I'm hoping
to enjoy it. I mean, I've had this conversation so many times with musicians, and I definitely don't think if you're at a gig, you should have your phone in your pocket on silent. It's not going to ruin your night, and it's not going to ruin anybody else's. There's nothing worse, unless at the end of the gig when they say, everybody get your lights out on your phone and wave your phone in the air, there's nothing worse than, for me, I feel like you just ruin it by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting looking at a phone all night. For me, it's always, I mean, I think you should always just sit and enjoy the gig. I mean, I went to see Billy Joe back in Manchester back in 2019. I took a picture at the start before he was even on stage of just the stage like empty, and my phone never come out of my pocket again. It was just such a good night, and I mean, I went back on Sunday morning, looked at YouTube, and there's videos. People have streamed the whole lot.
Absolutely.
You've just not enjoyed yourself. You paid all that money. You're not enjoying yourself. As you were saying there about obviously you're playing in Trillions in March, what day is that, just in case anybody was hoping to come down and see you?
It's Sunday the 7th of March. It's an all-day event. I think it starts at 12 o'clock midday. I could be wrong, but I'm sure that's the right sort of time. And there's quite a lot of bands on. There's Culloden. I'm going to really rack my brains here on this one. Culloden, Collapse of Colour, Perceptions, I think, are the headliners. I could be wrong, though. Who else? Novichok, who also, they're a thrash band. They did Mosh the Roof on Volume 1 with us, so I've got really friendly with them. They're another Newcastle-based band. And, I can't remember all the others. I have to have a look at the poster, Michael, I'll be honest. But it looks like it's going to be a really, really good show. Hopefully it's not going to get cancelled if the pandemic continues. But the vaccine's out.
That's it.
Let's hope it's effective, and yes, hopefully we'll get this thing under control.
Indeed. Let's go back to your album, back to your EP. Sorry.
Yes.
We get very distracted easily, don't we?
I do. Yes.
Describe the headline track, "Blind My Eyes."
Ooh, how would I describe it? I mean, it's a song that's got definitely has a place in my heart, because it was one of the first tracks that Deej kind of, when we said, let's put a band together. I was about to spiral there as well and tell you a little tale. But yeah, so we got back together, and he sent me that over, and it was called Mr. Fury, and it was a song about mental health and about getting angry about yourself and situations that you get in. And that was the first song that we finished together.
Yeah.
So we got together, we wrote all the parts. He sent the idea, but we rearranged it, and we brought the heavy together and all that sort of thing. So that's just a great song for me, and like I say, it's all about kind of having your inner demons and fighting them and trying to shoo them away and be a better you.
Yeah.
So it's just it seems like a negative song, but it's a very, very positive song. I think in a way all of our songs are very positive.
Yeah. So how can people buy Blind My Eyes EP? And have you got any other social media you would like to mention as well?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So Bandcamp is kind of, other than coming directly to us, and I'll cover that in the social media bit.
Yeah.
Bandcamp has just been absolutely amazing for small bands like ourselves, because unlike some of the streaming services, not that I'll name any names, but you can guess which ones, they don't pay a lot of revenue. So it's best if you go to a site like the Big Cartel and like Bandcamp, because pretty much all of the money that you pay to Bandcamp comes to the band. They take a very, very small profit. And typically, PayPal's taking a bigger fee than Bandcamp is on your money, and that's just on the business exchange. So if you go and visit us at Bandcamp and just search for Scarred by Truth, you can buy the EP on there. You can buy either the digital version, which is I think $3.75, or the actual CD for £5.
Yeah.
I think for a physical CD or album, £1 a track is great.
Yeah,
I think any more than that is taking the mick, really.
Yeah, indeed.
I think
that's really good. That, I mean, the fact that obviously hard CDs. I mean, I quite like them still, me.
I love them.
Like that. I still like have a good collection of CDs.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I miss about vinyl, I mean, obviously, I love the quality of CDs, but there's something about vinyl, and I remember, because I'm an oldish kind of guy, I remember getting all the vinyls and taking it out, and you had your inner sleeve, and you would have your band photos, your track list, your little bit about the band.
Yeah.
It was just a magical thing back then to just be able to look at that, because you didn't have the internet. You couldn't get the lyrics any other way. So I just love having a physical CD, and I know that from that physical CD, the band is getting all of the money. All of their hard work is being redeemed in, okay, yeah, it's pounds, but that's their blood, sweat and tears, and the many hours that they've toiled away in a rehearsal space, and then paid for the CDs and everything like that. It's just their reward. I think it's the best thing. Yeah, and obviously T-shirts as well. So you can buy the CD there. We have some T-shirts out as well, and badges. Yeah, we've got badges. We've got wristbands. We've got caps. We just kind of went ahead and become this little merchandise machine. Even though we've got no gigs, it's all the things that we would have done anyway. We would have got, and we've been quite fortunate in that, like I said, although we're not kind of a band a lot of people are going to instantly go, oh yeah, that's brilliant, and we hope they can do. We have actually sold quite a lot of merchandise. We've built a fan base. We've been quite clever on social media, and even though we couldn't go out gigging, we've reached out to various people and radio stations and just kind of got the band out there, so that when we do get out, we've already got our footprints in the sand. Yeah. I would say is a kind of way to look at it.
That's it.
So yeah,
really good.
Yeah, so that brings us to social media. Yeah, if you're on Facebook, we are just Scarred by Truth. So if you search for us there, you'll find us. Same as with Instagram and Twitter, it's just at Scarred by Truth. I think pretty much if you type Scarred by Truth in anywhere, you'll find us. It was one of the clever things about the band name. I was just Googling through and I went like, oh, I can't find that. Right, I must be safe for a band name. I'm not going to get confused with any other band.
That's true, isn't it? It's so hard, I think of a name for a band these days, because there is that many of them to try and to make sure you're not seeing what anybody else.
I know, yeah. I mean, I've seen bands that are kind of posting away on Facebook and everything like that. They've got a name. I don't know. I mean, I can't think of any of the names. But let's just say the band was called Carrier Bag. I don't exactly see a Carrier Bag, but there might have been a band called that in the 70s or a band in the 90s, and all that's going to happen is when you're doing those kind of searches, you're going to get that music as well. So it could work in your favour, but again, I'd rather just be unique and just kind of stand out. And I think my feeling is that I'd rather, if the band was ever going to fail, it's going to fail because nobody got us, and not the fact that we just sounded like everybody else and faded away.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's the same for me, for obviously being a radio presenter. I mean, I'm so pleased with my second name that it's not a very common one like Heppel. I mean, there's not many people I know with it, and if there is, there's like 3 different ways to spell it as well. So I'm quite pleased with that.
But it's good. It's a good way to, you've got to kind of stand out. You've got to be unique, especially when, like you just said, because you're in the radio business. You've got to stand out from everybody else, and a name and image and everything like that is the way to do it. You just got to be a bit savvy.
You have to be these days. Is there any other information that you'd like people to know that I haven't already brought up?
I don't think so, no, because I think we've had a good little conversation. We've talked about the band, we've talked about all the people who are respecting in the scene. I think for me, it's all about give all the new bands a try. Don't just listen to your mainstream radio. Listen to your local stations, because they're the ones that's going to champion the local news, the local politics, the local scenes, and the local bands. Whereas if you're just listening to the likes of Radio 1, Capital, whatever, all you're going to get is the music that somebody's either paid for you to listen, or somebody in charge wants you to listen to. You're not going to get any new things. You're just going to listen to the same thing that everybody else is.
Round and round and round.
Absolutely, yeah. So
I couldn't have put that on myself.
Just go out there and find all the new stuff, because there is some amazing things, some amazing bands out there and artists who just really could do with a like. Give them a like on Facebook. Give them a follow on social media, because it's a simple couple of clicks for us, but for a band and an artist, it means everything. The world.
It's absolutely everything, isn't it?
It's literally one more step forward for them, because I mean, I remember in the days when we just started out. I just take Facebook as an example. You start your page up, you get 5 or 10 likes, and you just think, okay, this is going good. And then you start hitting the milestones of 50, 100 likes, 200, 500. I mean, we've just gone over just over 1,000 likes on Facebook, and that's within really. I mean, we had the page going about 6 months before the EP. But that's a big milestone, and all it takes is for somebody who can come along and go, all right, well, that band's got 1,000 likes. They're either going to go, that band must be good, or if you've only got like 50 likes, you'll be like, well, nobody likes that band. Why should I like it? It's a crucial rating system, I think.
It is indeed, yeah.
It really is. So if you find something, please like it. If your friend, it's the same with their small business. If your friend has a business, like it, because it's free. It's a free way of promoting their business and helping their business. Definitely do it for bands.
It's the biggest review you can do. I think it's the same with YouTube as well. I mean, this interview will be going out on YouTube, and I ask everybody when I put obviously at the end of the comment at the bottom it'll be on the bottom of the screen there. Please subscribe, and every subscribe, it's exactly what you were saying there with likes. Every subscribe is just as important. Whether you're a singer like yourself, or whether you do interviews, or whether you do videos, people, just to press that bell as well. That bell's so important as well for YouTube, and the fact that
absolutely,
you're updated with every new upload and everything like that. But
I think the other thing with that as well, Michael. So just to go on with what you're saying there about YouTube, you've got those milestones on YouTube as well. You've got 100 likes, so you get to have your own name. So you go from being a collection of letters and numbers to being YouTube/Starred by Truth, which is brilliant. And then you get 1,000 likes, and you start getting money off businesses. They want to advertise. So only just subscribe it. And even if you don't ever want to hear from that person, you can turn off the notifications, but liking them, following them, and subscribing. Don't unsubscribe. No, don't unsubscribe.
It's the worst thing you can do.
Oh, absolutely. See, we know this score.
We do indeed. I'm so pleased this is going on YouTube now. Hopefully I gain some subscribers and lose none.
You better.
Mike, it's been great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks for talking to us.
I've really enjoyed myself. I'll speak to you again hopefully sometime soon when you release a new EP or even a full album.
Absolutely. Well, we are doing pre-production now on the second EP. We've got something coming up that I can't talk about as yet, but we should be putting the update out fairly soon. So I know the bands are being announced in December, but the new EP should be out around about February or March. It'll be 5-track EP. So it'll be a kind of a follow-up to Blind My Eyes. Again, it'll be songs that are, you should be able to hear them and go, oh, that's Scarred by Truth, but it's not typical Scarred by Truth.
Yeah.
Just because we're growing as a band, so we want to tap into some of the newer songs, but some of the older ones that we've already got lined up that we're just waiting to release. So it's going to be an exciting time for us. But thanks for talking to me, Michael. It really means a lot.
So, Mike, thank you so much now.
Thank you.